1. Welcome back to another episode of Talking Territories on the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast. I am the host, Adam Cousins, and it wouldn't be NWA without my Scottish counterpart, Fiona Lochran. Evening, Fee.
Evening, you all right?
Indeed, I am. We've just not long, well, a few hours ago, covered off episode our 99th review of NWA Power. So it was a little while ago, but this week on Talking Territories, we've got another Exodus Pro. Well, not just Exodus Pro guy. We've got someone that's been doing it on NWA Power now, and is also going to be at the Crockett Cup with partner EC3. It is the Urban Playboy, Pretty Boy Smooth. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No,
Thanks for joining us.
Indeed. And you were happy that Fiona called you a man mountain the other week.
Hey, that's why I'm here. Once she said that, I was kind of sold. I felt very, what's the word I'm looking for? Appreciate it.
Certainly
You're
was.
welcome.
Certainly was. But look, Smooth, let's just get straight into it. Look, NWA is soon to be celebrating its 77th anniversary coming up very, very soon. Just put into words what it's like sort of being a part of a company that's technically probably the oldest wrestling company around now, and everything that it's doing this year has been amazing. But for you, what's it been like being a part or around all of that experience as well?
Yeah, it actually is the oldest
Mm,
company that's been around, and I guess for me, I've been wrestling about 9 years, close to
yes.
10, and I've had some opportunities at major promotions, but not a lot. And I feel like I was a guy that, you know, and I'm not the most giftable wrestler, if that makes sense. I don't chase viral moments. Like there's certain things about me that I play into that doesn't always fit, the narrative of what the flavor of the month is. So getting the opportunity to showcase my talents at NWA has been astronomical for me to feel like I have like a place in professional wrestling, if that makes sense. Also working with Exodus, I get to learn from guys like EC3. I get to work on promos and things with Aaron Stevens. So it's like I'm in a position where I'm around a lot of guys that have been in places and rooms I want to be in. So I just try to absorb everything I can like a sponge. And speaking of 77, I'm originally from Hempstead, New York, which is in Long Island. And with the 77 being in Huntington, it's not too far from where I grew up. So knowing that I'll have friends and family out there to see me it feels great, working on the biggest event for the National Wrestling Alliance.
It's going to be a lot of fun, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You touched on it just now, Aaron Stevens and a promo. And every time, and me and Fee say it every time he's on NWA, when he's talking, you just listen because that guy is absolutely tremendous. Whether it's a wacky promo with a mint julep match at the end of it, or whether it's him trying to be serious, that guy there's just something about him. He's got such a great mind for the business. And you mentioned it there about being a sponge. Just how much do you learn from someone like an Aaron Stevens, even just by standing there watching him?
I learned a ridiculous amount of things that you don't learn about in indie wrestling. Like, for example, nobody really thinks about making their wrestling gear look different from an indie wrestler to looking like a star. They don't think about how these lights in this arena are going to reflect off what you're wearing and stuff like that. So it's just like little things that I pick up from him, just from whether I'm messaging him at 1 a.m. randomly or just hearing him like giving someone else feedback. Like I've always been a guy that if I'm gonna do something, I want to put my best foot forward, and I'm very passionate and I love professional wrestling, and I want to be what I call myself, the most dominant big man. And to do that, there's a lot of things that I have to learn inside and outside the ring, and having a guy like him helps me hone all those skills.
Fee, over to you.
Yeah, so obviously we've seen you on Power quite a lot recently, and the more that you're involved with Exodus Pro, we're hoping to see loads more of you. We love what we see. You've had quite a few different matches. You've had singles matches, you've had tag team matches. But something I wanted to ask you was, you teamed up a way back in January, I think, this year at Shockwave in Texas and Forney, with Brandon Beretta against Baron Von Storm and Bam Bam Malone. But now we've just seen that Brandon has actually now been tagging alongside Baron von Storm. How do you feel about your tag team partner kind of almost ditching you from that point to go against the guy that you were up against?
I mean, to be honest with you, there's no ditching me. Like at the end of the day, I'm the giant. You know what I mean? Like I don't necessarily need to have a tag partner to do what I need to do. So if he wants to go wrestle with a guy that's, a legend in NWA history and on the back end of his career, maybe it'll help him stand out more. I don't know. But at the end of the day, when the bell rings, whoever's with me is with me, and whoever's against me is getting dropped. That's how I've always looked at it.
That was
And
cool. Oh,
and
go on.
talking of that match as well, that match in particular that I was talking about went to a time limit draw. Do you think you would have escaped the claw if Baron had got that onto you?
Oh, absolutely. There was no question. The thing is, like EC3 doesn't want me to show everything that I can do right off the bat. You know what I mean? He wants to make it interesting. So it's like I could have smoked him immediately, but he didn't want me to. So, I got to listen to the guy that brought me to the dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, certainly do. We'll talk about EC3 more in a second. Just touching on the territories, and you may or may not have seen on our show recently. Izzy James obviously had a little bit to say, and I believe that in a promo, not on this particular interview, but he did cut a promo on Exodus Pro, which Brandon took a bit of an exception to. I don't know if you've seen that promo from Izzy, and
Oh, I
maybe
did.
if you've got something to say about that.
Sure. Well, so here's something really funny. I was actually, and I don't know if he knows this, I was supposed to wrestle Izzy James Mania weekend in Vegas. I
Oh,
just so happened to not go. It was for Versus Pro Wrestling was the company.
Mhm.
And I mean, here's the thing. People are going to call out Exodus all the time because we're the top territory, and there's no question about that. But the thing is, like, calling us out doesn't get our attention. Getting motion and making noise is what makes our attention. You know what I mean? Like when I was the first ever NWA Midwest champion, I took that title to 10 different promotions. I was going state to state. I was going out the country. Like I was making my presence felt without me having to really say anything or call anybody out. Like I defended that title against Donovan Dijak and Myron Reed and like all these other top talents. So it's like for me, I feel like he has his work cut out for him if he's trying to do what I did. But he's also a very talented wrestler. I respect what he's done. I do believe he's one of the best in Texas, if not the best. So it's well within like his grasp to do it. But I'm the kind of guy you got to show me. Like talking don't really mean nothing to me.
no, it's going to go and prove it, which will be interesting to
Do
see.
your
Yeah,
talking in the ring.
Do you talking in the
yeah,
ring?
that's how I am. I never had to, I never had a Napoleon complex. Like I'm 6'9". So at the end of the
Is
day,
that how
like
tall you
I'm
actually are? You're 6'9".
6'9", 280.
That's a
Like that's
whole foot
legit.
taller than me.
Yeah. Well, you can wear heels then.
I
Yeah.
can't, and you'll be a foot taller than me.
Yeah, so I mean, he like I said, he got to show me something. Like calling
Mm.
us out is cool and all, but climb up the stairs to the top of the mountain, then we'll talk.
You might need to climb up the stairs as well to reach. I don't know how tall is he actually is. I
Yeah.
just want to ask a couple of random questions before Fee. We'll move on to AC3 and the Crockett Cup in a second. So one of the interesting ones I got, and normally I ask wrestlers about what their favorite entrance music are, and there's a lot of different answers that people give. So I was going to change it up a little bit. When you're watching wrestling, or when you're even at wrestling, what is that one entrance music, or maybe two, that when you hear it, you instantly get goosebumps?
Uh, I would say, in terms of recently, I would say Roman Reigns before he lost the title for
Mhm.
sure. Because I just feel that aura and energy, and like I listen to a lot of his promos, and like I feel the way he be feeling sometimes. And rest his soul, Bray Wyatt. Like
Mm.
the whole energy that came with what he was doing as the Fiend, like I loved it. Like I love the entertainment aspect, the characters, like everything that we do. Like it's not just about what you do in the ring; it's about how you present yourself and all that stuff. And I love watching things like that.
Mm. Fee, do you have one? I didn't ask you last time. Do you have like an entrance theme that when you instantly gets?
I think for me, it's got to be someone like Stone Cold or The Undertaker.
Yeah.
It's really, really simple, but you hear that for Stone Cold in particular, you hear that glass shatter, and it's just like that moment of. But yeah, I've not had the pleasure of hearing that live though, unfortunately. I have had the pleasure of The Undertaker live, but I've not had the pleasure of Stone Cold live, unfortunately.
You've
So
had the pleasure of Undertaker live for Inside the Ropes, not just in an
we have
arena.
indeed.
You've had him there with you.
We got to get y'all on this side.
Well, Fee's been out there. We're going to talk about that in a second. But the one that gets me, and I did hear this live now more than once, but I was there when he returned to wrestling from a hiatus, and that was Brock Lesnar after
Oh, hell yeah.
yeah, in Miami after WrestleMania, that Monday Night Raw. And it's not just biasness because I was there. I still to this day haven't heard in my mind, even watch. I know it's probably different watching on TV, but I haven't heard a louder pop. That building was literally shaking when that music hit. Even though it was rumored, but of course you still, you don't know. That was it for me. I mean, Edge gets me that gets my goosebumps as well. And I got to shout out Mr. Anderson because when he was on the podcast, he done his entrance for me. And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
I got it. I got goosebumps on that as well on the podcast. Quick last one before we move on to the Crockett Cup and EC3. If you have like a table for free, WWE used to do this show on a network called Table for Free, and they would sit three wrestlers around a table. I'm going to give you an extra one, a table for four. So you have three wrestlers that, or even three personalities in wrestling, people that have been around wrestling that you can sit there, have a meal with, and just talk wrestling with it. Who's your three people that you would choose to have?
Out of like everybody,
Yeah, alive, not alive, whatever.
yeah, that's tough. I've never thought about that before. Um, I would definitely say The Rock.
Yep.
I would say Triple H. You said I get two more?
Mhm.
Yeah, go. If I give you an extra one, go on, table for five.
Um, Damn, this is hard.
No.
Because I would love to pick their brains just to learn more about the business and different aspects that people don't understand. Um, Damn, I really was not prepared to answer that one.
We can come back to it if you
You can
want.
think more if you get more
Um,
time.
hmm. What's her name? Maria Kanellis.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah, like because I've seen her give people feedback in AEW and stuff, and I love the way that she thinks about wrestling. So I'd love to have a conversation with her. Um, and then maybe The Undertaker. And the
yeah.
reason I say that is because like I like how he's always found a way to reinvent himself but still be himself
Yeah.
throughout
Yeah.
different eras and stuff. So I feel like there's something that I can learn there as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. Because I remember him saying when he was going from the Undertaker to the American Badass that the reason for the change was more to do with the fact that the business had changed to more talking a lot more because you had Austin on the mic, you had The Rock on the mic, you had Triple H and DX and whatnot. And he kind of felt that his character was being left behind because he didn't really talk other than rest in peace or something along those lines. So that was
Yeah.
what brought the change. But that's a great one. I would have had just so my one, Paul Heyman, uh no, sorry, Jake the Snake, because I think he's great from a mind aspect. I would include the Undertaker, and I would also include Triple H in that, just because from a business perspective as well. Fee, is there anyone particular that you would have?
I'm going to go for one from the past who's sadly no longer with us. I'd love to have Dusty.
Oh yeah,
Dusty would be good. I'd sit down with Paul Heyman any time of the week. I have had that pleasure as well of doing that before with him. I had dinner with him when we did the tour, and that was incredible. He just commands the room, so he was phenomenal. I'd like to sit down with Stephanie McMahon.
yep,
No, I dig that.
And and the last one, probably just because I love him so much, probably be Adam Copeland.
oh,
Edge.
the one inside the ropes toilet got away from me.
Yeah.
To your point about Undertaker and like the idea that like more characters are talking and stuff, I can kind of relate to that because when I first started wrestling, everyone wanted me to be the stereotypical big man that's just
Mm,
always like angry, it doesn't say much and has like the stoic face and whatnot. And that's not me as a person, you know, like
yeah.
I'm a very charismatic person. I'm very articulate. I have different you know what I'm saying, I have different moods, I have different things I can say, and I have charisma like in real life. So it was like I wanted to break that mold of what people looked at as like a big man. Like it could be more than one different things because I have that gear shift in me. And it's like for the longest, I had the issue of people saying, oh, well, a Playboy character can't be a monster or whatever. I'm like, all right, well, that's a lie because this is who I was in college.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't really tell me what I am. So like I understand wanting to break that mold and be vocal and things like that.
Yeah, definitely so. And he obviously portrayed it very well because every character that he done was massively over. But Fee, you had a question to ask about EC3.
Yeah, so obviously you're at Exodus and you're working really, really closely with EC3. How did that come about? Was it EC3 that approached you and said, "Look, we've got this new promotion up and running. I'd really like you to be part of it." And how's your relationship with EC3 going? Because obviously you are tagging with him now, and we will be seeing you
Yeah.
as a team in the Crockett Cup shortly.
It kind of happened by accident, but it's so I was already scheduled to wrestle EC3 for the World's Heavyweight Championship at one point. And months before that match, I got invited to Sam Hain when they did it in Cleveland, Ohio,
Mhm.
where they had the notorious thing that blew up on the internet. Everyone thought we lost to CW.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
I met him there and we had like a brief conversation and he just looks at like his the co-owner Noah who co-owns Exodus, that's like the other booker, just gives him a look and he walks away. And then Noah's like, hey, are you free this day? So it kind of just came from that. And me and Pastor CeeLo just had natural chemistry and the same energy, so we were just like the perfect fit together. And just wrestling EC3 in the ring and having that mutual respect for each other. And he sees how hungry I am. Like he sees I'd be at the gym at 5 in the morning and like what I would do like to promote uh the Midwest Championship, you know, like right after I won it, I was already lining up defenses, planning photo shoots. Like he sees the hunger in me, he sees how much I want this, so it makes it easier for him to say, all right, I'm going to help this one.
Yeah, he's another one, and when we've had the privilege of him twice on this show, and he's just been. I don't think we talked too much. It was more just let him because he's just that. Again,
Yeah.
he's one of those ones.
Well,
Go on.
well, I've also, and that wasn't my first time like meeting him. Like that was our
Mm.
first time really talking.
Yeah,
But when I first started wrestling, the second match I ever saw on the Independents was him versus John McChesney, who got me into independent wrestling. And the first match I saw was John McChesney versus Matt Hardy, which is a whole nother story. But I met him that one time, and then there was a time I was doing extra work for WWE, and I was part of No Way Jose's conga line. Uh,
Amazing.
yeah, if I find the video, I'll send it to you. But like while they're filming this, like EC3 is like in the mirror putting on like Tanner or some shit. So it's just so it's just funny how like life really comes full circle sometimes, and you never know what person you meet is going to be able to change your life, like going down
it's
the
re
road.
really weird because on my YouTube shorts that played earlier on, this is no word of a lie. They were doing not saying underrated bangers, but theme songs that you might have forgot. And No Way Jose's song was a part of the top five on that list of, was a part of that list that they was giving me today. That is incredible that you were a part of that.
Well, you didn't ask me this, but I will say two of my favorite theme songs. Um, what was the first one? It was just in my head, and now I can't remember the name of it. But you remember Adam Rose?
Hmm.
I love that song for sure. And Test theme song. I don't know
Yes.
what the lyrics are, but like whenever that comes on, it's such a bop.
Wasn't it just test, test, this is a test? Was that not?
Yeah, but then after that stops, there's
Oh,
a dude like rapping
yeah.
or something. I don't know what he's saying.
No, I got
So
No.
no
hopefully,
idea.
I hope he's not saying anything that would get me canceled. You know, I don't condone that. But that song's a banger though, for real.
There are some underrated bangers. I think I actually messaged Inside the Ropes for one. It was Billy Kidman's one, Run,
Yeah.
in the early 2000s. That was a good one. Just switching gears to the Crockett Cup, we have to talk. Fee, you've had the privilege of being out there for the Crockett Cup
Yeah.
when the Briscoes won it, if I was right.
Yeah, that was what, 2022, maybe? It was in Nashville. I came out for it, came out to Nashville for the Crockett Cup. Brilliant. I love tag team wrestling, so I always get excited for the Crockett Cup when it comes round.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because obviously you're partnering with EC3 in the Crockett Cup, and obviously we know it's been recorded and you can't give anything away. That's all fine, and hopefully we'll be able to see it, depending on when this airs, because we've got a bit of an issue where we may or may not be able to see Power going forward. We'll have to wait and see
Oh
for that.
yeah.
Yeah, Roku, we can't get it over here in the UK. It's not available.
Oh man, I hate that. I'm so sorry.
No, no, it's all right. We'll find a way. We did last time, Fee. We managed to.
Well,
Wait,
it's
a couple
that,
of
and I
sneaky
mean,
wee measures.
listen, I'm not judging. At the end of the day, I appreciate you guys for wanting to watch the product and to review and support. And from what I've seen, like everything gets posted on YouTube at some point too. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully there'll be different ways.
we'll find a way,
we'll
don't
figure
we?
it out.
We'll figure it out somewhere. But going back to the Crockett Cup, obviously being there, again, sort of your feelings about it because this is one of the most prestigious trophies in wrestling. And you're, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it's your first time competing in the Crockett Cup. How was that moment for you to actually be there in that, that again with
Yeah.
the NWA banner, but with that such a prestigious tournament that the NWA put on?
Well, it was a lot of firsts for me. I mean, you have that, and also it was my first time wrestling in the ECW arena.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the thing with me, and I'll be completely honest, when I started watching wrestling, it was during like the Attitude Era.
Mhm.
So like that's kind of what I grew up on. Like I'm not
Yeah.
somebody that is an encyclopedia. Like I couldn't name you like 20 wrestlers from 1987 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I'm that's not who I am. But I like learning as like I'm going and stuff and learning about how certain things are like prestigious and whatnot and looking at the lineage of who's been in the Crockett Cup. Like it's a real surreal moment. And I have friends that live in Philadelphia, so they got to see me.
That's
Um, and yeah, like just being able to tag with a guy that's wrestled for literally every top major promotion and learn from him and then like just go out there and like go hard and kill it. Like it was a great moment. Like I was very excited for it. I did everything I can to prepare and like here we are.
Here we are, and we'll
Did
see.
you get your photograph with the mural on the wall?
Oh, I did. I posted it.
I must have
Yeah,
missed it. That's on my bucket list of wrestling things. Get a picture with the ECW
yeah.
arena sign.
I didn't sign the wall, but I took the photo. I'll send it to you. But I didn't realize that wall was in like the bathroom.
Couldn't have told you that either. That's
No.
funny.
Yeah, I had no idea. But it was cool though. I will say that. Like it's cool to wrestle in a place that has so much energy. And then they had like a banner of like Sabu in there and he had just passed away. So
Yeah.
that was like
Yeah.
pretty neat.
That must have been, yeah, that's been quite a surreal moment as well, being in that arena. Obviously, with that not long had happened, and then being a part of the Crockett Cup in there as well
Yeah.
must have like, must have been an amazing feeling as well, especially as a fan of the Attitude Era, because you understand what that arena actually meant to those ECW
Yeah.
fans or fanatics.
Yeah, it's like I go from that and then like I go to a moment where it's like the stuff that replays in my head when I'm in these situations isn't really like oh my God, like I'm here in this like great place. It's more like I worked my ass off to get here. Like
Mm.
I've trained at like multiple different schools. I've put thousands of miles on cars. I've slept in cars when I was driving back from bookings early on when I wasn't making much money. Like I just think about all that stuff and go like you're here now. So it's time to show them like all the work you've been putting in. You know what I mean? So like that's really where my head is. Like I'm not really a guy that like overly smells the flowers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally. And
Yeah,
obviously, this year at the Crockett Cup was extra special because you did have a lot of other legends turn. I mean, Natty Neidhart was there from the WWE. That was an interesting one to sort of. I mean, me and
yeah,
you, Fee, when we saw that, there was a genuine excitement from us.
There was a
And
real buzz, not just from us, but right across the internet, and just the fact that she was there when she's still
yeah.
obviously with WWE. So that was really, really exciting. I can't wait to see that match.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, and I have some friends that train down at the dungeon, so hopefully I can finesse my way in there one day.
oh, definitely. I'm sure that'll be an experience. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We're going to start with. I'll ask a couple more questions, and then we'll start to wrap up and talk a bit about what's coming up next, and then Fee will finish off with her question. But let's move the couple of random questions I've got now. So the first one's a two-parter. So you have to. So the first one is, if you're going to be in a Royal Rumble, what number would you be? And secondly, who would you like in the ring when you go out there, when your music hits and you walk out the ring?
I would want to be 30 because that's the last one. And
Yeah.
then I would want like all small people that I can chuck over so I can win.
Make it as easy
Just
as possible.
Fair
yeah,
enough.
absolutely.
That is it. Last random one from me. So a lot of people look, we know, and maybe as independent wrestlers, it may be slightly different, but the question will be worded the same as what I would if I was asking it any wrestler is what's actually the hardest part about being a wrestler that perhaps people don't understand or don't know about?
Um, Holding on to championships like this, you know what I mean?
Ooh,
Just
is
a
that
quick,
your ETU
yeah,
title?
yeah. I had to show that off. You know, I'm big
It's
on
a
marketing
beautiful
myself.
looking belt. You've
Quick
had that for a
segue.
little while, haven't you? Since
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's not a game over here. This it's kind of ridiculous. Like this belt is probably like 30 pounds. There's another photo I'm going to show you of my tag partner trying to hold it up and he just could not get it. It's freaking amazing. But now, on a serious note, I would say it's not even like obviously it's challenging to learn how to do the stuff in the ring and whatnot,
Yeah.
but just like figuring out how to be a public figure in today's society is very hard.
Mhm.
Especially if you didn't like learn any of those skills, like going through school or playing sports or anything like that. It's just like the piece of marketing, how to make yourself accessible just enough, but not overly accessible to people. It's knowing like what to say and how to respond to different situations, whether it's a rumor or you're like doing like damage control or just dealing with certain types of personalities. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
with this age in the internet, there's so many opinions and so much information that's like forced your way that you aren't always supposed to take in. And
Mhm.
it can put you in a position where you kind of lose yourself and don't know who you are. And there are times I've struggled with that early on. I mean, when I first started wrestling, I was fortunate enough in my first 10 matches to wrestle Eddie Kingston.
Oh,
And one of
Brilliant.
the, and we're still cool to this day. He's a great dude. And some feedback he gave me that I kind of had to learn the hard way was to not ask every veteran or everybody to watch your match and take their opinions because at some point there's too many cooks in the kitchen, so you don't
Yeah.
know who you are, what you want to do, and things like that. And obviously, everyone's going to have a different take on what the big man should be in wrestling. Even though a
yeah.
lot of it was years in the game before I found somebody to help me learn how to be a big man. Like I was trained by Aaron Draven, who's a cruiserweight, Johnny Gargano, who's a cruiserweight. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would always try to like network and talk to veterans and ask for feedback. And you keep hearing so many different things that you can't like. There's too many voices in your head, so you don't know how to
Yeah.
figure it out. So for a while, I lost myself, and unfortunately, but fortunately, COVID helped me slow down, be
Okay.
to myself, figure out what I want to do. So I say that to say this on a large scale when you have the internet where you could be your second match in somebody sees it and telling you how much you suck and things like that, like you have to learn how to almost be stoic and have a neutral mindset so that the things you read don't get you too high or too
Yeah.
low or you're never going to like succeed on a larger scale.
Mm.
No,
Definitely so.
that's fairly sensible. Just while you've got that belt, it is beautiful. That's the Atlantic Tag Team Championship for me to you. Am I correct? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're part of the Killionaires Club
Yeah.
with, is it Jay Bougie? If I've
Jay
said,
Bougie and
Yep.
Cash Flow Kim Broadway.
when's your next title defense for that then?
Just got announced today, actually. I believe the show is July 13th, and we are wrestling Jesus.
That's going to be a big match.
Bojack and Diego Hill.
Okay.
They're from North Carolina. I'm trying to remember the name of the actual tag team. It's Star something. And I feel bad, and this is not a slight on them.
No.
I just have so many things going on in my head that like I just like forget. But Bojack is a really good dominant wrestler. He's huge. He was a DPW champion. He might have been the first one there in North Carolina. Diego Hill's his tag partner. It's Star something. It's like hi. If any of you could go on Instagram, it's like I just posted
Let
the
me have a quick look and
Gonna
see if I
say,
can find
good thing I've
it.
got the phone right here.
yeah.
Let's see.
So I can see it myself.
It really is a beautiful looking belt though.
Yeah, you gotta come over here so you can see it.
Yeah, well,
Y'all gotta fly back over here.
do you
Well,
know, I'm seriously thinking about it. Like, I keep looking at flights for New York for 77. Like, I'm really, really bad for doing that, going, I want to come over and see a show. So I had tickets for Dothan for Hard Times. I was actually in America when Hard
Yeah.
Times was on, but the flights from Dallas to Dothan were the same price as my flight from the UK to Dallas, and I was like, I
Oh,
can't
okay.
justify that, so I never made it. And every time I've been watching the show back
Yeah.
on X, I can see my little empty seat that was mine, and I'm like,
So so that show was actually very special to me because my parents are from Alabama, like originally.
oh,
They just had me in New York. So my mom made a trip down to see me wrestle there, and also she like her sister lives down there. So it was like a little family affair.
that's cool.
Yeah.
high flying star machines.
Yes.
I
Yes,
love
them.
that name. That's
Is
Yes.
the team.
brilliant.
Is the
Yeah,
team.
I hope Bojack does not fly because that dude is huge. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to get with him or we're gonna have a problem. But you know,
I would honestly, I think I could be signed off now to fly. I think that I'm at that stage now where my heart is okay. And I flew to
We should go
Morocco.
on a trip.
Maybe let's see if we can sort it out. Yeah, hopefully. I flew to Morocco, which is 4 hours, so it's only going to be another what 3 or 4 on top of that. So
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
so. We should have a look. We should definitely get there. Fee, look, we're going to start to wrap up, but before I give you the honor of the last question, I just want to ask one quick one. Smooth. Look, this year's been massive in the NWA. Obviously, that new deal that we spoke about, the Roku deal, which is massive for them. What are your goals and aspirations for the remainder of 2025 going into 2026?
In terms of NWA or in general?
Exodus and NWA.
Okay. So for one, I'm not signed yet, so I'd like to get a contract for
Yeah.
sure. Um, I want to reach the potential of what me and EC3 can be as a tag team with CeeLo, the Holy Grail. As far as Exodus goes, I feel like I'm the standard there. You know, like I represent and embody what Exodus stands for, and I want to do that on a high level. And I also want to elevate everyone around me in that locker room and make Exodus one of the top independent promotions in the country, which I already think we are, but it's time to make other people see that as well. So yeah, those are my main two goals right now.
Excellent, and I think you will. That's for sure. Fee, look, as it is, NWA has always been your baby. You're the one that introduced me to it. I always give you the last question of the show, so no pressure. But they've been quite weird, so I don't
Yeah,
know what she's got
they're,
planned
they're,
for you.
they're, they're very random questions. So this week's question for you, Smooth, is if you could have a wrestling match against any historical figure, so I'm not talking about a wrestler, but any historical figure, who would it be?
That one can go left depending on the way you answer. Historical figure. Um, Damn, that's a tough one. Um, hmm.
I have an alternative if you're struggling with it though.
No, I just feel like an idiot because I don't really I can't think of any historical figures
Okay,
from
well
you
let's
know, the first thing that popped in my mind
Go on.
was that movie Abe Lincoln Vampire Hunters. No clue why I thought that, just because
That's
I'm thinking about a historian that does some stuff. I'm like that's uh
we
hmm.
can go with the other one, which might be easier if you want.
cool.
All right, what's the other one just in case? Because if I do end up randomly having an answer for you, you'll get a random message of an answer.
Okay, if your wrestling persona, so if Pretty Boy Smooth was a breakfast cereal, what breakfast cereal would he be and why?
Ooh, breakfast. Damn, you have some really good questions.
I
I was
try.
That's why
I
she gets
was
paid the
not
big bucks.
damn. Like that just feels like a question that I've never met the guy, obviously, and he's not here, but I feel like that's how deep like Dusty would probably make people go character wise. Like, what is you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm thinking when you say some stuff like that. Um, breakfast cereal and why? I really like Frosted Flakes. Um, I think they're good whether they're crunchy or soggy. So I think that they can adjust to whatever the situation is.
Okay.
I think they are they seem like plain when you look at them, but they're like how people see me, like they just see me as the big man, but there's flavor in there. There's different
Different
layers to it.
layers.
Yeah, so I feel like that adds into it. And also it's like a tiger, it's a beast, just like me. So I'll go
You
with
know,
that one.
I have
There
these
we go
feelings.
then. Pretty Boy Smooth is a box of Frosties.
Yeah, I just have these things right now, Fee. We're gonna when we reach out to territory wrestlers about coming on this show, and they ask Smooth, he'll be like, "Yeah, they asked me what cereal I'll be." Like I can imagine that would go a
I'm an absolute
lot.
professional.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
professional.
now I want to answer that historical figure one. See, but you're talking about like an actual, like this person was like alive kind of deal, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. To give you an
Historical.
idea, I would love to power bomb our current prime minister through a table. There you go. That's mine.
No, I dig that. I I'm just trying to stay away from presidents.
I understand that it's
Yeah,
a very
that's
loaded
yeah,
question.
that
So
could be
Yeah,
yeah.
like I know you have no ill intent with this, but I just know how shit goes in this game. But this is what I mean when it's like hard to answer questions as like a public figure
yeah.
because somebody will take something like overly out of context that was never like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, who would I want to wrestle that's like a
It could be someone like Christopher Columbus, or it could be someone like, I don't know, a former president that's no longer
yeah.
here, or
No, I get what you're saying for sure. Um, I was going to say Arnold Schwarzenegger, but probably not.
There you go.
I
He's,
don't, I don't know. That's a tough one. I feel bad. I don't have an answer yet.
don't worry for that.
no,
That's
I kind
fine.
of sprung it on you. I should have
I'm
maybe told you before.
No, I'm glad you didn't because this is going to make me think on my feet for like next time, you know. But
No,
you're going to get an answer at some point.
you
All
never
right,
get
I look forward to
you'll
it.
never get a question like that again on a podcast, I can assure you.
And if I did, I'll be ready for it. I will say
You will
that.
be.
There you go. I've
Exactly
done
that.
you a favor.
There you go. Fee, we're going to start to wrap up. So why don't you say what's going on in the world of Inside the Ropes and where are you going to be over the
Oh
next
my
few weeks?
goodness, we've got some really exciting stuff up with Inside the Ropes. We've just announced a tour with Mick Foley in
Yep.
November, which we're looking forward to. And we are going to Ireland this time. We are coming to Belfast as well as Glasgow and London and Manchester, which will be great.
Yeah.
Um, in September, Inside the Ropes are also bringing none other than the Hitman Bret Hart back to the UK. We are in Glasgow, Manchester, and London for that as well. What else? I'm just trying to think. Is that all the Inside the Ropes stuff? Oh no, we've got a show with Jinder Mahal in Glasgow on the 13th of July. It's a one-off show. Unfortunately, general admission tickets are actually sold out for that. It's a one-off, one-day only show with Jinder, so we're looking forward to that. So loads going on with Inside the Ropes. In terms of me, by the time this goes out, I will be packing my bags and getting ready to go up to the Shetland Islands with PBW for 4 days, up to the most northerly island in the UK. It's a 12-hour ferry and then another two ferries after that to get there. So we're running 3 shows and 3 lots of wrestling clinics up there on the islands for all the islanders in Shetland. So absolutely buzzing. Never been up that far north before. So really, really looking forward to it.
Should be fun.
Y'all need to bring me out there.
Come
I
on
want,
then.
I would love that. I would love to go to the UK.
Well, Smooth, before I sign off with what we got coming up, what have you, so two things, obviously, what have you got coming up that you are obviously allowed to announce? Appreciate you may not be able to announce everything. And B, if you've got any merch or you're contactable on social media, where can people find you?
Yeah, so first off, if you go to prettyboysmooth.com, I literally have links for everything from my merch to my Wikipedia page to the college scholarship I created. Like literally everything's on there. So that and my social media links as well. So that'll be the quickest way to access me on anything. As far as what I have coming up, let's see. This weekend, when is this show coming out, first off?
Oh, next week, this time next week. So
Oh, so that's fine.
yeah.
So I'll be in North Carolina for Ashe Wrestling. I'll be making an appearance there. Then I have NWA, the TV tapings in Tampa,
Yeah.
July 1st. Then I believe ETU is the next week. And then I may have some more stuff coming up. I have like a very shit memory. So I have like a calendar in my phone where all my dates are listed where I just need to be because I'm just always just going, like whether I'm wrestling or making content or like trying to get in more indie films, like that's something else I do. So yeah, just if you follow if you go on prettyboysmooth.com, it's links to everything. I also have a Patreon page where I post vlogs of a lot of my travels and matches, giving away early access, things I can't necessarily post for free.
Sure.
So definitely check out the Patreon. There's also a discount code on there for merch. And if there's any people on here that are gym goers or bodybuilders or anything like that, I also have a discount code for Gaspari Nutrition. I'm one of their elite athletes. So if you put in Too Smooth TV, all caps, you'll get a discount 15% off for like protein powders, pre-workouts, all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
There you
And
go.
we will obviously be seeing you at 77 as well, hopefully.
In person, be there. That'll be awesome. I'd love to see you guys.
Yeah, that'd be great. Coming up on the show, tomorrow, for an example, at the time of recording, I'll be speaking to recently released WWE star Wolfgang. Fee, you may join on that one, and someone you know quite well
Yeah.
from what intents purposes. But next week, obviously, we are filming our 100th review of NWA Power, and to finish off the celebrations with that, we are going to be interviewing the man that holds the 10 pounds of gold himself, our very own Tom Latimer, Galaxy Bars at the ready.
And
Absolutely.
they've been putting him through it lately. I mean,
Yeah.
when he had to fight Aaron Stevens in that little amusement park of the house he got, that was, oh my God, that was insane.
Yeah.
And then you got Carson playing around with his championship and the slime balls breaking into the car. That was, yeah, they putting that man through the ringer.
They are. They certainly are.
They have. I mean, he's been put through that ringer the last couple of months, so it'll be great to see him. And I know he's actually over here
He's
right
in the
now.
UK at the
He's in the
moment.
UK
Yeah. So
right now.
he's
And
in
then
the
coming
UK.
up on July the 13th, my champion will make her first defense of the championship. Thank Christ she beat that pain in my ass on that last show. So Aluna will be defending her championship against Nightshade on July the 13th. And then in September the 21st, it is our final joint show with Ignite. Not final because we're leaving. We've put on 2 other joint shows with them over the last 2 years. Both of them are sold out. We're hoping to make it the 3rd year in a row. It will sell out on September the 21st. Fee, we hope to see you down there.
I will do my best.
Buckle up free September 21st. But Smooth, it's been great with having you on the show. Many thanks for taking some time out of your afternoon to come and talk to us. We look forward to seeing you on future episodes of NWA. We can check out Exodus Pro as well. If you want to check them out on Twitter, they're Exo Pro. I think Exo Pro on X. Check them out. They're also on the NWA YouTube channel most times.
Yeah, August 9th, Watch the Throne. It's going to be
Yeah.
an awesome show. Make sure you check that one out.
Indeed. Make sure you check out that on August. Maybe that'll be on the NWA YouTube channel. Or maybe.
More than likely, I feel like it will be.
We'll get to watch
it should be. Like we've been doing really well on those live streams. It's averaging around 20,000 views. So
fabulous.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. So yeah, check that out on the 9th. But will Fee be back next week for us?
I will be here.
You will be here. I will be here. We hope you are too. Until next time, everybody, this has been the Hitting the Turnbuckle podcast with Pretty Boy Smooth, with Miss Fiona Lochran, and with me, your host, Adam Cousins. And until next time, everybody, buckle down, stay safe, and goodbye.